In the early 1930s, an American psychologist became completely obsessed with the idea of human development. At that time, wild children's stories were everywhere. You know, those tales about kids raised by animals. He was fascinated by them. And one day, a terrifying question popped into his mind. What would happen if we raised an animal as if it were a human? The person who chased this question was Winthrop Kellogg, along with his wife Luella. They had just had a baby, so the human part of the experiment was ready. All they needed now was an animal sibling. By pure coincidence, at a primate research center affiliated with Yale University, they found exactly what they were looking for: a young female chimpanzee. Excited, they immediately began to put their strange plan into action. The chimp's name was Gua, and she was only 7.5 months old. The Kellogg's son, Donald, was 10 months old, so there was only a few months difference between them. Their plan was simple. Gua and Donald would grow up together, in the same house, under the same rules, and treated exactly the same. No exceptions, no favoritism. In the summer of 1931, the Kellogg's rented a house in Florida, and that's how one of the strangest experiments in human history began. On June 26th, they brought little Gua home. From that moment on, there were officially 2 babies in the house, one human, Donald, and one chimpanzee, Gua. Everything in the house was doubled: 2 high chairs, 2 cribs, 2 sets of pajamas, 2 play areas. Everything. Gua was treated just like a human child. She wore clothes, was fed baby food, and even got a goodnight kiss before bed. And incredibly, she learned fast. She quickly figured out how to hold a spoon, drink from a cup without spilling, and even respond to simple commands like, "Give me your hand," "kiss," or "wave." Before she even turned one, Gua could respond to 95 different words and short phrases. But things didn't stay simple for long. Gua's physical development was much faster than Donald's. She learned to open doors, pull chairs, and run, all before him. While Donald was still babbling goo goo gaga, Gua was busy exploring the house like a curious toddler. At first, the Kellogg's were thrilled. Their experiment seemed to be working. But over time, they started to notice something strange. While Gua was becoming more human, Donald was becoming more like a chimpanzee. Donald began imitating Gua's sounds. When he was hungry, he made the same hoo-hoo noises she did. Sometimes he even crawled on all fours instead of walking upright. Slowly but surely, Donald began to show behaviors more typical of a chimp than a child. This deeply worried his parents. To make matters worse, Gua was getting stronger as she grew. During playtime, she would accidentally shove or shake Donald, not out of malice, but simply because she was much more powerful. The Kellogg's realized the danger. If they continued, Gua might eventually hurt Donald, even without meaning to. And so the experiment that was meant to last 5 years came to an abrupt end after just 9 months. On March 28, 1932, it was officially over. But the story didn't end there. Gua was taken away from the loving home she had known and returned to the research center. Donald spent days looking for his sister, while Gua sat by her cage making soft whimpering sounds, as if waiting for her family to return. They had bonded deeply, and now both were heartbroken. Sadly, Gua caught pneumonia not long after and died at the age of 3. Donald grew up, completed his education, and became a doctor. But years later, he fell into depression, and at 43, he ended his own life. Tragic, isn't it? What began as a scientific experiment ended up leaving deep emotional scars on both of them. Gua learned to live like a human, but could never truly become one. Donald, on the other hand, showed just how sensitive humans are to the environment they grow up in. So in the end, what shapes us more? Our genes or our surroundings? Maybe the truth is, they can never really be separated.